Hello and welcome to St. Thomas More 2021 Virtual Gala at Washington State University. My name is Brennan McCauley. I am the Director of Evangelization and Theology at St. Thomas More, and I will be your host for this event. Pour yourself a glass of wine, sit back, and relax. Washington State University, sitting atop the rolling Palouse Hills in beautiful Pullman, is home to more than 20,000 students, nearly 2,000 faculty members, and boasts over 200 majors. The school is one big family, and the Cougars live fast and hard. Spring 2020 began as any other month at WSU, with classes, intramurals, and club events in full swing. Greek Row was booming, dorms were packed, and the dining halls were riddled with laughter. Then everything changed. On March 11th, 2020, WSU announced that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, when spring break was over, classes would no longer resume in person, and students were urged to stay home. The streets were emptied, all learning was done through a screen. Students were boarded up in their homes, and the Coug roar was silenced. The semester went on without mom's weekend or graduation, without joys or excitement, and everyone looked to summer break to some sense of relief and hope that the next semester would be better. But August rolled around and nothing had changed, except that society had been stuck in this situation for 6 months, and people were broken down by anxieties and fears. One place held out for the returning WSU students. With all the restaurants and student union buildings closed, the St. Thomas More Catholic Student Center became a light on College Hill. Because of the challenges faced by the current generation of Cougs, we created a new mission statement this year: to be a light on the hill that fosters an atmosphere of healing, hope, and purpose to the WSU students through the person of Jesus Christ. Over the past year, we have been inviting our students to listen to Jesus' first words in the Gospel of John. Today, we would like you to consider these words as well. Jesus asked his future apostles, "What are you looking for?" Jesus gets in touch with the deepest desires of man. We are seekers of love and life. In return, they asked Jesus, "Where are you staying?" And he replied, "Come and see." We are inviting you to come and see what we are doing at St. Thomas More, not just during the pandemic, but when things are normal. We first want to thank the pastors, parents, and students from previous years for all the hard work you have done in building this center. We stand on the foundation you laid, and because of you, this place is growing and becoming more. In this event, we will share testimonies of what students saw when they encountered Christ and how the Lord gave them sight when they were once blind. We will have a roundtable discussion on the college culture between myself, our chaplain, Father Paul Herrick, and Alexandra Shipley, our leader of women's ministry. But before that, we would like to share some important changes we made this year. Last summer, St. Thomas More welcomed a new pastor, Father Paul Herrick, who had big plans brewing in his mind for how to reinvigorate the Catholic community at WSU. To our delight, he decided to renovate our social hall, turning it into a coffee shop-like area where students can gather to study, eat, and just hang out in a comfortable environment. Right across the hall from our coffee shop is our chapel, which is in the development stages of renovation. Students come and go all day here to say hello to Jesus, the one who reveals to them who they are. Another big change to the center was the students' exposure to Pope St. John Paul the Great's Theology of the Body, which is a collection of talks he gave on what it means to be human, specifically in our creation as male and female. I was brought onto the staff this year to teach on these matters, which included a Theology of the Body on tap for graduate students and weekly book study with 30 to 40 students to discuss the beauty of God, sex, and the meaning of life. We have seen an amazing increase in participation and a noticeable vibrancy in our students' spiritual lives. We have almost doubled the participation from 20 to 40 students at our weekly programming events, and mass attendance has gone up roughly 40%. We're not just providing a clubhouse here on the campus, but as Pope Francis calls it, a field hospital for the sick and the lost. Cougs strive for excellence in all aspects of life, with academics, jobs on campus, internship prospects, club obligations, and social life. At St. Thomas More, we are calling for excellence in the most important aspect of life, our calling to discover ourselves as beloved sons or daughters of God. We are proud to have a diverse group of students that all come together in Jesus' name, breaking through the boundaries of various social frameworks. Some of these students here are athletes. As a member of the Pac-12, WSU certainly loves its athletics. So let's hear from some of our student athletes about their experience at St. Thomas More this year.
Everybody struggles, and people who don't necessarily have the greatest guidance struggle the most. As Catholics, we're called to live in a different way, called to live in a way of service.
There's sin out there, and there's a lot of temptation that I got caught up with in my first 2 years. The biggest thing for me was, trying to find my faith.
I have found hope here kind of as in a home away from home. Meeting some of these friends at church really made me feel like they had my back, and that I wasn't just struggling alone by myself. And that was truly the hope of fellowship and the hope of community here.
A lot of people introduce themselves to me and were just trying to get to know me better. It's not something I'd really ever experienced before. And I see the work that they put in, the way they pray for each other and care for each other, and it's great.
I found such a connection here that I call this place my church right now. Each week is something different that we're doing, whether it's a game or praise and worship, digging into the Bible, or just having people talk. Hopefully I can make a lot of money playing in the NFL and donate some money back here because it's really made an impact on my life.
I want to do more with my life than just be an athlete. It's really important for me to have the balance of life and understanding that I have value and life outside of my sport.
Sitting right in the middle of Greek Row, St. Thomas More is here to bring healing to those students suffering the consequences of the poor choices they have made in their pursuit of worldly happiness. We will next have a few of our Greek students speak on what this center has done for their lives.
I grew up Catholic my whole life. For a little while, wasn't practicing. I was still here at WSU, but I wasn't going to church or anything like that. Over this past winter break, I really knew I needed to start going back. My first inclination was to come to the Newman Center.
I would definitely say I have been fully entrenched in the Greek life scene. Particularly my freshman year of college, really struggled with how I wanted to be perceived by men in contrast to my religious values. And I found that the men at the Newman Center actually see me as a person. I have gone to the talks on natural family planning, and it really helped me to learn that there are strong, valuable men in the world who want your friendship, that value you as a person, that care about your opinions.
I've heard of theology of the body before, but I never really truly understood what it meant. Coming to the Newman Center, I started to understand that we're meant to love like God loves. And the only place that we actually will be satisfied is by coming to church.
If you view the church as a mission and this field hospital, we are in the center of where students need us to be, and we really reach students where they need to be met in a lot of ways.
It was something truly special just to see all of these youths engaging in their faith.
In running a place as vibrant and fluid as this center, it takes a big team to get everything done. This semester, we offered the students internship opportunities. Through these positions, students have been able to dive deeper into their faith, take on dynamic leadership roles, and understand responsibilities as they pertain to greater servant leadership. Now I'd like you all to meet our new intern team that has helped lead this place to greatness.
Living as a college student, the deepest desire is to be accepted by our parents or from our peers and society and the workforce.
It doesn't matter what I'm doing. It's better to be here than anywhere else, in this exact room.
It gives you a place to not have to be perfect, not have to be number one. When I'm having a bad day, when I'm having a good day, no matter what it is, it's good to be here because all those other feelings kind of are irrelevant.
Knowing that you're welcome, that on its own brings people in.
The growth here at the center has just been amazing, and first the attendance of our events, attendance of Mass, but also in the spiritual growth that people are making here, in prayer, in attending Mass, and Bible studies, and loving God.
I think the women's ministry is so important because it's really, I think, helped the women here learn that they are valuable beyond what society and social media tells them. Every Tuesday night, we spend a night 1 week learning kind of about theology or learning about women in the Bible, and then we'll spend the week after learning about a saint's life.
We have been really diving into vulnerability about our femininity. The interns here, they feel very driven to serve here because I believe that they all found a home here.
My faith isn't an aspect of my life. It is my life, because without the faith, like, nothing else matters.
I only have my viewpoint on my own. And when I come here and I make these connections and these friends and these brothers and sisters, it's like, there's just so much more of God to see. You're not doing it for yourself or on your own. You're doing it with God and for God.
I've heard Father Paul say this before, and at first I was dubious that people won't go to WSU for the party lifestyle because that's what it's known for, but they'll go because of this center. And at first, when he first said that, when I first moved here, I was like, I don't know, Father, it's been a party school for a long time. But I am starting to believe it by the growth and by the passion and by the Holy Spirit working through here. I think that's why people will come here.
Welcome to our panel discussion on college culture. We're joined by Father Paul Herrick, Alexandra Shipley, and our senior here at WSU, Ken Richardson. So we've had a lot of discussions about problems in college culture right now. I remember my experience in the Greek system here at WSU. And my freshman year, I was going to Mass on Sunday, but I wasn't living my faith until one night I walked past St. Thomas More and felt like I needed to do something, that God was calling me to something more. And then I went on a retreat, and thanks be to God, I was like, I gotta go all in. What do you guys think is the biggest concern right now on college campuses? Maybe people who are not religious, but also people who may have a faith but are not. What do you think is a roadblock?
Well, I think college culture in general, like the actual college, kind of has this idea to where you don't need to do something with integrity, you just gotta get it, kind of like with grades. At a lot of colleges, unfortunately, there's this idea that you don't have to learn, you just got to get the grades. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of translates into the social scene to where you can do what you want, just avoid all the possible consequences. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's where we get a lot of the party culture and a lot of the other bad things that are associated with being on a college campus. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I think the biggest problem in culture today, college culture in particular, is, you know, when you leave your folks' home, there's an element of excitement. Most college students, when they leave home, they're told all their life, okay, we're going to get you prepared for college. Parents start a college fund, 24 hours after the child is born. And then all of a sudden they get on these campuses and the honeymoon goes away really quick. And I think at the end of the day, what's the biggest problem? We can talk about the party culture, all that, which is absolutely relevant. What's the greatest problem is this sense of authenticity, that young people and people in general desire this authentic friendship, this authentic experience, and there's bumps along the way. That's just called being young and learning how to grow into that. But I would say more than anything, it's that people are searching for these deep, intimate relationships, and they're looking for it, as the old adage, in all the wrong places. And I'm convinced that the more that we point people to acts of service, and especially in the areas of faith, is where they're going to find what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, people just want to be known and loved and seen. Mm-hmm. And that's the root of a lot of actions that we have. And I think that's the root of a lot of our loneliness, is because we try to put it in places and put it in friends and communities that won't give it to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's St. Augustine. St. Augustine says the greatest desire of the human heart is to be known and to know, or in other words, to be loved and to love. Yeah. And I think that's something, at least I experienced it in my fraternity, of not knowing my brothers, hanging out with them all the time, but not really knowing their life story. Yeah. What do you guys think? What do you think is the hope that here at St. Thomas More we can provide for students? Or, what do you think is the antidote to some of these problems?
Well, how about what's significant for you here, Ken? You came in here just this last year. What's it been like for you?
Yeah, I just came in here last October, so it's only been about 5-6 months. But yeah, it's transformative. It's been a very big experience in my college career because, I kind of came back into my faith just just last year, and like I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know who to talk to about it, but I found this place, and right when I walked in, so many people were just very welcoming. They were just, oh hey, what's your name? What are you studying? How did you find this church? And it was just so welcoming, and I think that's what college kids are looking for, is that a place where they can truly be vulnerable with one another, because we all desire to be loved, but to be loved, you need to show your true self completely in an area where you don't feel like you're going to be judged. And I think that's what this Newman Center is to me. It's a safe haven, really, to where I can show, I can show my true colors. That's as cliche as that sounds, but that's really what it is.
Yeah, I was talking to the women the other night when we were having an event. We were talking about vulnerability, and several of them said they had the same experience here, that this was the first place that they felt that they could be truly vulnerable with the women around them, without fear of judgment and without fear of that they're going to look at them differently. And I remember one of the girls was saying this the other night, because the end of the semester is coming up, and they're saying, I think this is the first time that I actually have friends to miss, that I'll have a community to come back to, and that they'll be there.
Yeah, I think more than anything, my experience, I'm new here too, and is that there's an old adage is that change is disruptive. And when you think about St. Thomas More Student Center, is that if you come around long enough, the very culture itself here that we're trying to portray is that it might disrupt you. It might move you to change. Jesus Christ was always talking about change, but he always got to know the people first. We talked earlier in our introduction about what is that Jesus said to the apostles, "Hey, just come and follow me." Or what are you looking for? He didn't lay out the plan. And I think what's important for us is that young people's lives are so laid out for them so quickly. Where are you going to go to school and what are you going to be? I always tell students, don't ask other students necessarily the three big questions. Where are you from? What's your degree? And what are you going to do? Is like, who are you? Is when people are listened to and they're appreciated and they're walked with. The power of Jesus Christ is he walked with people. He walked with people, and then there were those poignant times in their lives that then he called them out. He called them out to be great, and I think, and we were talking earlier about, this generation of greatness, and that our goal here is to create great young men and women to be light and leaven in the world in which they live in whatever kind of world they do. So I think, Ken, you're a great example of that to me, of a person, because I remember when you came in, and you weren't a lot different, but I know you pretty well, and you're like, just in 6 months' time, the changes in your life. But the point of, like for most men, you went to a place of vulnerability pretty quick. You're like, no, I've got to change.
Right.
I want something different.
Yeah, that leads me to our final kind of discussion. And you mentioned it. Jesus asks us all, who do you say that I am? This is what we've been focused on in our Bible studies. He asks every one of us, and we have to respond. And if we say, you're the Son of God, he asks every one of us, come and follow me. And you have followed him, Ken. And St. Francis of Assisi says, preach the gospel. At all times, preach the gospel. And when necessary, use words. You preach the gospel by being in the chapel every day, by coming to Mass every day. And that affects me. It affects all of us. Can you share with us, you're a glory story in the flesh here. Yes. In a sense of someone who's taken up the call from Jesus, come and follow me. You have, Ken. And most people have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Can you share with us, what has that been like?
Right. Well, as you said, we all ask ourselves, Jesus said, who am I to you? And the correct answer is you're God. You're the Son of God. And if you really do believe that, that requires much more than just saying it verbally. It's, if you really do believe that Jesus is God, like, you're going to serve him. You want to give your whole life to him. He's God. And that was my awakening, really, was, if I really have faith in this, I need to live it. Actions speak much louder than words do. And so, yeah, I believe Jesus is in the Eucharist. Why would I not want to consume him every day, at every opportunity that I have? And that's, there are some games you don't play unless you're all in, really. And that's kind of been my motto since I've kind of had this reignition of faith. So, yeah.
Awesome. A few nights ago, I was talking to one of the women here. We were talking about a lot of different things that we talked for probably about 2 hours, just about life and stuff. But something that stood out to me that she said to me was, one of the reasons why I came here, Alexandra, was I was praying about what college to go to. And through prayer, even though WSU wasn't my top choice of college, I felt the Lord saying to me, something's big going on in this Newman Center, and I want you to be a part of it. The Lord is going to work a lot. And through that, I thought, wow, I've kind of experienced something similar. Partly why I came here is the same thing.
We talk a lot about, and I said it, you're older a lot longer than you're younger, but your youth defines how you get older. What they've been saying, what you guys have been saying, what affirms me is, and why I like doing this is that I know Ken and Alexandra and even you, Brendan, is you're all really young, but I know in 10 years from now, whatever vocation you choose, the glory is the fact that your life is going to be manifested because of your yeses here. And that's just, oh man, that's so exciting to know that you've had to do your hard work here. And too many people do their hard work out there and they don't have people to walk with them. And you all walk with each other. And I think that's the greatest thing is that you were all really great at working with each other. It's really cool to see you guys pray with each other and cry with each other and laugh with each other and do homework together. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, college is such really, like you said, this time, these 4 years is really kind of the trajectory of life, ultimately. And so, yeah, we need to invest in college students and in relationships, especially these years. I'd say more than most years throughout life. But anyways, thank you, Ken, Alexandra, and Father, for taking the time to join us for this panel.
Throughout this video, students have shared their wonderful and amazing experiences at St. Thomas More. I've been blessed to work with college students and adolescents, and all these young people are crying out for authentic relationship. Jesus Christ is the most authentic relationship in the midst of all our struggles. Now, I want to bring you back to the infamous day in 1941 when Pearl Harbor was bombed. From that point on, young men and women rose to fight against all odds. They were the greatest generation. I recall my grandfather, who was a young man at the time. He went home to his family brokenhearted that he could not fight. It was a badge of honor to fight. Today, we need to bring forward a generation of young men and women who are engaged in the fight for strong marriages, for vocations, for living holy, happy, and healthy lives.
It's my responsibility as the bishop, and I think it's the care and concern of the entire diocese that we guide young people from the moment they begin school to their final years of graduate studies. We provide a religious presence, a guidance, and a parish where they can come and worship, pray, and be supported. The Newman Center at Washington State at Pullman does that, and it accomplishes, I believe, in many ways, this care and concern we have for college students and graduate students.
Our hope more than anything here at St. Thomas More is that Jesus Christ and our faith as Catholics emanates throughout the students who come here. It is that hope that I'm asking each and every one of you to support Right behind me is this amazing chapel. Every single day we have Mass. Every Sunday we have adoration here, but it needs a little help. We need to raise $240,000. What does that do? That really covers our basic budget. That covers salaries. That covers electricity. It covers programming. We feed a lot of students. It takes care of the basic necessities. That way, that we can focus on the bigger project, that young men and young women can walk in here and encounter the living God through the power of the Eucharist. Please consider making a significant donation, either online or by check. We need 200 people to give a minimum of $100 a month. But I know that any donation is greatly appreciated.
What a joy it has been to share with you all that we are doing at St. Thomas More Catholic Student Center. Please pray for us that we may become what God is calling St. Thomas More to be here at WSU, a light on the hill. Thank you for joining us, and if you're ever in Pullman, Washington, you're always welcome here.
Thank you for joining us tonight. God bless you, and good night.